Good morning, good morning. Great to see Instagram this morning. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wonderful to see folks coming in. Awesome, awesome. It is another beautiful morning, snowy morning here in the Northeast. I'm Travis, the Vice President of Programming for SAY, Camp Director, Camp SAY. It's great to see all of you. Good morning, SAY family. Indeed. Hi, Noah. Hi, Christina. See Quentin, what's going on? Good to see everyone. Yeah, it's another beautiful day here. And that's, it's taken me a while to like come around to say how beautiful snowy days are. I think that's the California in me who is still very much all about the sun, but the snow has been inspiring me to get out a lot more and to just experience the outside a lot more. So it is a beautiful day. And it is really a beautiful day to celebrate Black History and to continue SAY's celebration all this month and beyond. So I'm happy to have another moment to connect with you all and to celebrate Black voices in our community and in our world. So I am thrilled to not just share facts, but to really be able to have a conversation about these things. I think like so much of the experience of Black history and so much of the experience of Black people is meant to be experienced and talked about. So every opportunity that I get to actually like have a conversation with you all, have a conversation with someone is really incredible. And I'm excited to do that this morning. I have a guest who is going to join us. Give me just a moment. I'm going to see if they're here yet. Very cool. All right, so joining me this morning is an incredibly wonderful, inspiring, thoughtful, heart-filled, hard-working person that I've had the opportunity to work with over the last few years, starting out as a camp counselor at Camp Say back in 2017, and then joining our staff full-time as a camp associate. It has been and continues to be a wonderful pleasure to work with this person, to hear their voice, and to just see the passion that they have for young people who stutter and for the culture of Camp Say. So I am thrilled to welcome, to conversate, to celebrate LaDarius Lee, our Camp Say associate. Please welcome us. Give it up, snaps, high fives, hearts for LaDarius, who should be coming any moment, hopefully. Hey!
Hello.
Hey!
Hey.
Happy Friday, LaDarius.
It is Friday. Wow, yes. Happy Friday, Travis.
I know, the days are kind of moving, right?
Yes, absolutely. Being in quarantine, it's like all the days come together. So when people are like, good morning, I'm like, good morning. I don't know what day it is, but good morning.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like not just the days, but the weeks and the months, the fact that it is February, it is moving by so quickly. But at the same time, there's a lot of good work I think that we're doing. And I just have to reiterate how wonderful it is to have you be a part of the team, and I don't know if you remember, I remember like that first day meeting you back in 2017. Do you remember that?
No. The first day of like staff training is just like a blur, like everything. So I do not remember.
Oh, oh, good. I remember it, and it's wild to think back, you know, because we meet new staff every year, but it's really wild and really wonderful to think about like your decision to come and like check out camp and be a part of it has led to this, and you know, I don't know that either of us like saw that in that moment. You know, it was still like very much a new and explorative thing of just like I'm gonna figure out what this camp is about, and I think we were like gonna figure out who this person was, and now you're here, and this is like year round for you, which is great.
Yes, yeah, and then thank you for like that incredible intro. I was like, wow, me. So thank you so much for those kind words. Yeah, it's so funny to think like, you know, say it was just something that I was like, great, all right, it's summer, let's get into it. I'm gonna be there for those few weeks, and then I'm gonna think about it for the rest of the year. And now I get to do that all the time. And I also don't think that first year that I would be here. You know, I don't, but I always think that everything happens for a reason, and you know, life throws you curveballs, and you know, you just end up working at say. You know.
Well, that's a heck of a curveball, and I'm grateful for it. So, thank you. Um, yeah, and I'm excited to talk to you about, you know, Black history, and I know what it means to kind of us as a culture and as a whole, especially right now. But I'm always interested in hearing people's personal stories and their personal history with Black history. So I just kind of want to open with that question of like, what has Black History Month meant to you in your life?
What is Black History Month to me? Wow. I feel like it's like a celebration. It's a time to rejoice and reflect and also learn. Um, I feel like a lot of Black history I had to learn on my own, um, or through, you know, what my family encouraged me to learn or taught me. Growing up in school, I remember, you know, we would go through all the history books, and the only time that we really talked about Black history, it was just kind of like these few pages is generally like Black history, and then we would go on to the next chapter. So yeah, it's a time to really celebrate all the successes for Black people, whether it be the smallest project or the biggest event. You know, we should be celebrating all of these fantastic moments. So yeah, it's a great celebration, and it's a time to reflect and see how far we've come and who gave us those footsteps to where we are today. It's very, very inspirational for myself to think about, you know, what was happening years and decades ago and how that is still happening in the work that we do today, or, you know, something that we use on a daily basis or eat on a daily basis, like the excellence of Black people and how it is affecting our world. And it's just so beautiful. It's really beautiful to have this. So I would say, yeah, it's a time to celebrate and learn.
Hmm. Yeah, I really resonate with the idea of like, the experience of having to kind of uh, learn outside of school sometimes, right? You know, that I had a very similar experience where actually a lot of the Black history that I got was from a very a specific group of Black families who got together fairly regularly to kind of actively teach some of the history that was not always available in school. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, that became like such an important part of my ongoing education, even if I didn't see it as education. But like just hearing those conversations and just being in the room when those conversations were happening and hearing these names, like that was an impactful thing. And so I I can identify with that. Thank you for sharing that too. Um, for you, what is the importance of spaces where Black voices are heard?
Mm. Representation. Um, it's it's so important, and it's very key to see someone out there like you. You know, like as it is in say for our kids, it must be so wonderful seeing an adult who stutters and is out here in the working world. And that is the same for me. It's heartwarming, it's grateful, it's inspiring to see Black people who are just advancing in life, and they're doing it and they're making it work, and they're entrepreneurs, and they're inventing. It's the representation of it all gives the hope inside of the little kid in me, who was sitting in those history classes and um, maybe wanted to learn more and wish that we had more of this history in this specific textbook. Um, but I can now, it's out there. It's everywhere, especially in today's world with technology. You can't look up and not see um, some new author, some new up and coming star, some new actor or actress, and the work that they're putting into it, and hearing their stories of, they didn't have that support, um, or that maybe they did have a support group and it helped them to get where they are today. Having that representation and hearing those stories is just like just talking about it right now. I'm like, oh, like I love it. It is so beautiful to have those voices in the room, because you need that. You need that diversity and that inclusion and all of those conversations and those voices. Um, and to not feel like, if you're the one um, Black person in the room as to compare to everyone else, like to not feel like, oh, you can't contribute to something. Know that your voice still matters. It's such a beautiful thing. And so it is so important having that representation, having that background and that knowledge and that voice, and the power behind it as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. One thing that now that you mentioned that is really um, key is the idea that there's always like some new artist or some new person. And for me, that like illuminates the idea that Black history is current, that, the advances, the strides, the accomplishments, the triumphs are still happening. And that Black history is all of our history. It's a part of all of our history. So that's great. Thank you for sharing. Um, and finally, I would just like to know, like, who are or is there someone who exemplifies Black excellence in your life? Whether it be like a personal connection or just a public figure. Like, who exemplifies Black excellence in your life?
Wow. Okay. So Travis is just coming in with these questions today. All right. So I love it. I love it. I love to take these moments to just think about it. These are fantastic questions. Wow. Okay. I feel like I could name so many just historical figures or people in the public eye that are very inspiring to me. Naturally, I could throw out Alvin Ailey and his successes, and Debbie Allen and her successes, all in the dance community, and um, Tyler Perry and his story and the way that his work that he's doing, giving back to the community, and Chadwick Boseman and all the work in his story, and the passion that he put into his work. I can talk about so many people who have inspired me, but also knowing myself, it wouldn't be the like LaDarius answer to like give you a person that's not, not in my life. So I'm going to bring it to someone personal to me. And I'm gonna have to say my mom's dad. I really am. My granddad growing up was a huge influence in who I am today. Uh, I just don't even know where to start. So he was um, he was a sergeant back in the Air Force. Was in Vietnam. Like very grateful for the work that he did. That I wasn't even born yet, but I'm grateful for that work and the fight that he put in. Um, and it's funny because I hear the stories of, when I was born, he was like, yes, like finally, like my first grandchild and a boy, because before then it was just him and all girls. And so he was very, very excited that his first grandchild was a boy. And, there's never a moment that I look back that I can't think that he wasn't there, even if it was like, I don't know. Like I made a kite and I'm gonna go fly it outside. He was like, great, what time? He was always there. When I look back at all the events and all the clubs and sports that I did, he was always there. Um, and I admire him for his hard work, definitely putting in the work and making sure that we all knew that you're gonna have to put in the work. And also, as a Black man, you're gonna have to put in the work. And so I'm very grateful for him teaching me that at such a young age. And also, like the other side of it, just being a lot of who I am and my personality and my heart is because of him. The way that he loved is such a huge experience that I've had. It was just the way that he loved all of us individually, and just had it wasn't like, of course he had his collective love for his family, but each individual person, like we had our certain connections with him. And he always picked me up from school. We had like our fast food that we would sneak in before we would like go home, that I definitely wasn't supposed to be eating, but that was our thing. We had our things that we had together. I could always go into his room and he would be watching like old westerns. That was his thing. He always like loved the westerns. And so just sitting there and not knowing what's going on, but just having a chat with him and just feeling his energy in his space. And I mean, yeah, he is the ideal Black man that I want to continue to be in my life, to not only be known for who I am and the work that I put into my life and the things that I'm passionate about, but also the passion of my heart and the love that I give to my community and to my family and to um, just anyone. Like I feel like I'm a very social people person, that I'm just like, hey, let's go grab coffee. We've never met, but like tell me about yourself. I feel like I'm always open to have those conversations. And I think a lot of that came from him. He really wanted us to treat people equally and like have that kindness and use your voice, really use your voice. I am now in my 20s and I am finding my voice. And again, I go back to just conversations I've had with him of his encouragement and the way that he used his voice in our family and outside of the family and his work. Yeah, as you can see, I could go on and on about him, and I love him. I will love him forever and everything that he taught me growing up. And I'm very grateful for the relationship that I had with him. So yeah, he would have to be the one that I would say he's the one out of all of the other fantastic people that are out there. He's personally the one that I'm thinking of.
Thank you, LaDarius. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your voice. Thank you for being such an incredible ally and advocate for our voices, the voices of people who stutter. Much appreciated. I really enjoy learning about you more, even in this conversation, and what this time means. So, celebrating your granddad and what he's meant to you as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Instagram, for tuning in, for hanging out, and for continuing the celebration. So we're going to be doing more of this throughout the month. Stay tuned next week for our next for our next for our next for our next 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 post in this series. And we look forward to celebrating with all of you. Awesome. Much love. Happy Friday. Happy Super Bowl weekend. If you're celebrating, be safe, stay warm, stay indoors if you can. All right. Love to you all. Bye-bye.